With the recent release of episode 181, The Vessel, we got our first look at a brand new Boruto opening. Opening 8, Baku by Ikemonogakari. And boy, was it amazing. But we're not here to sit jaw open today. I've already done that. Check out my reaction if you haven't already in the description below. Today I want to take a deeper look into the opening and see what moments we can expect to see coming soon, and maybe some deeper meaning hidden away in there too. So I should probably say right now that if you are an anime only, I am so sorry, but you probably should click off this video as this will include spoilers from the manga. You've been warned. So there's no better place to begin other than the start. So let's jump into this, shall we? We begin with a beautiful shot of Kawaki sat upon his transportation box, which Kara used during one of the more recent episodes, followed up by some iconic moments from the anime so far, including the fight versus Momoshiki, Urashiki, and also Deeper. 3 arcs which all in some way, shape or form linked in with both the Otsutsuki and the Karma storyline. Momoshiki being an Otsutsuki himself and also the one who put Karma on Boruto, making him his vessel. The fight versus Urashiki, another Otsutsuki who was also the first person to even call Boruto the vessel in the anime. And finally the fight versus Deeper himself, a member of Kara who, as we know from the manga, are ran by an Otsutsuki trying to get its own vessel. We then end up back in a destroyed Konoha with Team 7 taking on Jigen, almost like a sequel to the previous opening where they tried to take down the rest of Kara. But one of my favourite parts from this opening, and a very subtle moment too, is when Jigen goes from the monk Jigen into this devilish expression which emits pure evil, showcasing Jigen's split personality, aka Ishiki Otsutsuki. Moving on to the next shot though, we get a wonderful homage to Naruto Shippuden opening 6, but this time it's actually reversed. Boruto's Team 7 quite interestingly take on the pose of Sasuke's Team Taka, and Kara take on the pose of the old Team 7. However, without Deeper. A moment of silence please for our forgotten prince. Symbolically, this does reflect Boruto's path of following on in Sasuke's footsteps. We then see a Konoha village full of peace and tranquility, unbeknowing of the future which lies ahead of them. And this scene may in fact just be before Ishiki's attack. And then onto my favourite sequence of the entire opening, Kawaki's flashbacks. This was genuinely so brilliant to see. We can see some iconic moments from the manga, including Kawaki's drunken father drinking and abusing his son before receiving a ton of money from a hooded finger for his son, who we know as Jigen. Seeing this scene where Jigen says, "I am your father, Kawaki," animated was great. And what's even better is the subtle moment we see Kawaki's eyes close with Jigen in the reflection. Because what do you see when you close your eyes? Nothing. And that's what Kawaki's future is with Jigen. A world of darkness and nothingness. But then Naruto enters the equation and pulls him back into light, which we see when Kawaki opens his eyes back up again and sees Naruto ahead of him. We then get another Sasuke reference with Boruto in the clouds, but also a shot from the manga at the same time. Finally, we get the iconic Bluebird reference, but this time the roles being reversed. We see Boruto take up Sasuke's position yet again, pushing the idea Boruto's path running parallel to Sasuke's, and also with Kawaki's sharing a strong resemblance to Naruto's. And then comes the fighting sequence, and one of the most, if not the most interesting thing I noticed here was the fact that Kawaki's arm manipulating ability had actually changed when compared to the trailer we saw just a few weeks ago. Back then, his arm took on a molten rock lava looking design with a blood red glow, whereas now it's much more human and just looks more of an extension to his body, as opposed to a supernatural ability. Although shapeshifting your arm could be considered fairly supernatural. But Boruto using lightning with his Rasengan is also a really nice touch, as it helped create some beautiful flashes of colour and a great action sequence versus Jigen on an otherwise dull and colourless backdrop, which heavily resembles the dimension Momoshiki was defeated in, further teasing the Otsutsuki link with Jigen. Also, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but the block Jigen does here reminds me ever so slightly of the block he does in the manga in his fight versus Naruto and Sasuke. Something all manga readers would have never expected to see so soon were these Daikoku 10 cubes from Jigen, an ability unique to Ishiki's brand new dojutsu. Because we never actually saw him use these cubes while in his Jigen vessel, because presumably they were just too much of a strain on Jigen's body. But the last thing I want to mention about this fight is how people seemed confused, as this fight never actually happened in the manga, at least not yet anyway. And listen, if there's one thing we've learned over the years with Boruto openings, it's don't take some scenes too literally. This fight is most likely metaphorical, like most sequences in the Boruto openings, symbolising Boruto and Kawaki's goal to remove the Karma Seal and their desire to defeat Jigen once and for all. And just before we wrap up the opening, we see some final nostalgic shots, including Sarada during the final Rasengan vs Deepa, 2 from the Mitsuki arc, Naruto and Sasuke from the Momoshiki arc, Konohamaru's big Rasengan, Sasuke and Sarada from the Naruto Gaiden arc, Mitsuki vs Shizuma, Boruto looking onto the horizon after defeating Momoshiki, Sarada versus the demon golem in the Kara Actuation arc, Boruto's final Rasengan versus Momoshiki, more Mitsuki arc, more Momoshiki arc, more Mist arc, more Momoshiki arc, more Gaiden arc, and then the Jugo arc with the ducks? I don't know, there's an imposter amongst these. Yeah, quite a few scenes there, to be honest. But the opening then finishes off with Boruto and Kawaki looking over the village in one final, beautiful Naruto Shippuden reference. Overall, I think this opening is probably my favourite of the entire Boruto anime so far. In terms of visuals, music, and just overall symbolism, it was above and beyond all of the rest. So let me know in the comment section down below whether or not you're as big of a fan of this opening as I am, and which your favourite opening is. Also leave a like and subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Senpai Squad. We'll have much more Boruto content coming your way very, very soon, so be sure you don't miss it. But until then, as always, peace.